stand-up comic and TV show host to one of the biggest names in stand-up comedy at the time. He had one of the highest grossing comedy tours back then, had a movie made about him, and at the same time had multiple successful comedy shows on YouTube. You know the deal. But as the saying goes, what goes up must come down. And although for comics like Bert, a downfall still looks like a dream lifestyle that most of us will likely never touch, that decline still weighs heavily on these entertainers, especially someone like Bert, who, let's be honest, thrived on being the center of attention and being the guy on top. And well, recently, Bert has been going through some very interesting times. His own friends seem to be tired of him. Sober October ended, and now Bert is finally taking a break from touring. But on top of that, for the first time in over 3 years, the fully loaded tour is not happening, which is very strange, but very interesting. And also, what's really wild is that not too long ago, Louis C.K. pretty much predicted and warned Bert Kreischer about everything that he's going through at the moment. But of course, back then, he completely ignored it and forgot about it.
I remember you telling me a lot of like really kind of sage things.
I used to do arenas and stuff, all that
You told
stuff.
me that.
Yeah.
You go, you're doing arenas. I said, yeah. And you go, it's for you.
Yeah, exactly. The audience is not, it's fun. Like, wow, look, I'm in an arena. But the audience is like, I can't even see him. If you're a fan, you watch the guy every time he comes to town. You know, if you're in Minneapolis, you see him come to the Acme every year. And then you go, he's at the Pantages now. That's cool. And then the state.
Previously, on your favorite OnlyFans soap opera, I was banned by Peekaboo due to a misunderstanding.
Guys, if you missed it, Soap is timed out in the chat for an entire week for her level of hate watching. Yesterday, I was in an epic duel, epic battle versus a priest. I was taking it 10-15 minutes. Right when I'm about to kill the guy, I disconnect. I literally blink and fall under the wall. And Soap is sitting there cheering, hoping we die. What is she so happy? It was like the biggest she smiled ever when I'm on the verge of dying. Okay, what should I do now?
They're all like, lol, wait, he's alive? No! I wasn't trying to be hateful. No! The only
what the hell?
The only reason why I said no. God, he's alive. That would have been horrible if he died. I wanted to play with him, okay?
That is so fake. That is crazy.
That's rich coming from him.
Me too.
But then, everything escalated, unfortunately.
So I had to time her out for 10 minutes, and then I said every single sub will time Soap out for an extra hour. Next thing I know, we have her timed out for as long as humanly possible.
No, I'm done with him. He timed me out for a week. He literally took my heart, ripped it out of my chest, and then like he picked it up and was showing it off to everyone. Like, he's just so mean. Later, he apologized after he denied it on his stream.
Guys, Soap forgave us. I was talking to Soap at 3 a.m. and she said, thanks for saying sorry. I know you're trolling, just sometimes the chat gets out of control. You guys, me and Soap don't talk on Discord.
Now, I don't know what to do.
Hi, Soap. Want to play 2s to 1600 with my raid? That's work. Guys, Soap asked me to play 2s to 1600. Should we play with Soap?
But I might change my mind.
Hey guys, what if we make a new AWC team and compete? Mizar and Soap. That could be some hype. Hello, Soap. Ring, ring. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, he's calling me. Hello?
Are you raiding next week or no?
No, I'm not going. I have to call in sick. I'm actually like busy.
You're calling it sick?
Yeah. I have plans, I have a life, so I'm not gonna be raiding.
Oh, you have a life?
Yeah, I have stuff in my calendar.
She's pulling a princess right now. No.
I just got tuned for everything. It's done. I just did it for like 8, 9, 10 hours.
Nice. Hard work pays off.
Yes, it does. I saw the keys are going well. Saw you doing some 9s.
No, I do 10s. Are we gonna do arenas because I have a group?
Yes, I'm logging in right now.
Okay. I've just meant I will tell my friends goodbye. I have to go. Guys.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably can't replace you, so it's probably the end of their night.
That's actually true. Like, I don't know. You don't really know how keys work, but like, I'm with my main team.
I've done higher than 9s. I have made
What have you
too,
done?
actually.
What key have you done?
Higher than you.
What's your IO? What's your IO?
I play with the highest IO priest on Moonguard.
Who? I know. No, I know the highest IO priest, and it's
No,
not. You don't play with him. No, I do.
No,
I literally
have her on
do.
Discord as friends. We talk.
Who? What? Her?
Yeah, and she's
No.
a mod.
No.
Yeah, been modded.
Okay, we'll go play twos with her then.
I have as well, actually.
Cool.
I'm asking you to play right now so we can get say bye to my main team. These guys.
No, because are you in the PI macro? Like, did she put you in the macro?
Oh yeah.
She probably did.
Yeah, been in there.
Whatever.
Have you done any arena? Do you have any gear or anything, or no?
I can get honor gear. I have to log out.
Okay, let's get some honor gear. What class are you trying to play?
I'm gonna give you the main treatment, I think.
What's that?
Holy Priest. Surprised you don't remember, because I farmed you before.
Stop. Just stop.
I mean, I don't really know why you're trying to act like it didn't happen, but it
Because
definitely.
it didn't happen. It did not happen.
See, why can't you just say like, yeah, you beat me, good job? Like,
Because
why
look
can't
how
you
you just
say?
said it. Look how you
Yeah,
just
but
said it.
the thing
Like, oh
is,
yeah, I farmed your ass.
because-
Like, that's
Like,
not what happened.
why? I don't understand why you're getting offended. It's not. Are you embarrassed that you lost to me? I mean, honestly, I would be embarrassed if you lost like losing to me. Damn. Especially like you and Zark. It's one thing if you're playing with a viewer, like viewer twos. I beat you in viewer twos before, and I was flexing that, but that's not even much of a flex. I feel like that last. Okay, I'll stop. Sorry.
Yeah, you done? Like you just
Sorry.
like what are you?
Sorry.
Just gonna keep going and going. All right, what should I play? I have a druid, a rogue, a warrior, a demon hunter, and a monk.
What do you? Oh, actually, no to warrior.
Fury might cook. I think Fury is.
All right. That's literally what I said not to play.
Yeah, but you don't.
No, if that's what you want to do, you're the leader.
I'm asking the higher ups right now. Just give me a sec.
Okay, you could just say shut up. Like you don't have to.
I'm.
Okay. Sorry.
Guys, I swear Warrior's insane. I'm playing Warrior. I'm gonna play Warrior, and you're gonna like it. Okay, who's like a good warrior that I can copy? Do you know anyone?
Magnus.
Here, I'll copy his talents and I'll call it the Peekaboo build.
Classic.
I'm trying to buy some honor, so I'm gonna just spend every honor I have on this. So you owe me for this. So yeah, you're gonna owe me for this,
What do you
right?
mean owe you?
I'm just saying, like, you got to get me back for this. I'm doing you a solid here. You got to do me a solid whenever I need a favor.
Favors, you said. Okay.
Whenever I need to call in a favor, I need to know that you'll pull through. That's what this means.
Yeah, sure. I got your back.
I'm gonna copy everything Magnus has, right? This guy knows what's going on, right?
I don't know. Who's that warrior that plays with Saul? What's his name? You know what I'm talking about?
Do you not know anybody? Like,
What? He's in the cabal.
he's not in the cabal. It's not real. Quit saying that.
No, it is
Stop
though.
talking
It
about
actually
that
is. No,
No.
I don't think
Stop
you're
talking
not
about
really
that.
in it.
What do you mean I'm not in it? You don't know anything. What?
No, I feel like no, but the thing is, you don't really play. I never see you playing threes besides like AWC.
You don't know what's going on.
No, but I do.
You think I
Like,
can't even be in the cabal?
no, I think you would be, but you just choose not to be in it. Cause like for example, like Wiz K is in it.
What?
Yes.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
You need to stop talking about this.
Why are they listening? I don't want to get in trouble.
Seriously.
No, I don't want them to be mad at me. Actually, if I play with people in the cabal, does that mean I'm like associated with them?
I don't even know what the cabal is. I've never heard of that in my life.
Oh, so it's okay. Never mind. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, soap is done. Do you have any gold on you? Because I need to buy enchants. I have no cash on this character.
I don't have enchants either.
Or if you give me gold, I can just get it for us both. I'll just buy it for you and trade it to you.
Do you even know what stats I need?
Yeah, just give me like 150k.
Why would you lie? Why couldn't you just tell the truth?
What are you talking about?
And you're a gaslighter. You do this every time. You're like, what are you talking
How
about?
could you say that about me?
Because you're lying. Just tell the
You've
truth.
been talking to me nonstop.
When have I ever talked? I was gassing you up like 5 minutes ago. Do you think Pika would fix my computer for me? I feel like he wouldn't know how. Isn't he a communications major? Sorry.
What is she talking about?
Bro said he had his dad put his bike together. Wow, he made his father.
Isn't he a communications major? Guys, on some real right now, your life is on the line. You are about to cease to exist. You have one phone call. You pick me or Soap. Who do you want to help you in any situation that has anything to do with anything? Who would you ever pick in that situation?
Okay, of course they're gonna pick him. It's his chat. They're gonna say, Pika, I'll pick you. No one's gonna
Guys,
pick
if
me.
you're picking Soap, you are dead. You are 1,000% dead. If whatever you would be an idiot if you pick soap. If you pick soap, you're a moron, and you're probably also a non-sub. Does soap even have a degree?
Oh my god! I do have a degree. Yeah, does he even have one? Oh, he does probably, in communications or something.
What, guys, what's soap's major? I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm not even gonna comment. Soap is not a comms major. Oh. Can I actually have some gold though, or no?
Not if you have 400k.
Okay, well, you should maybe keep your eyes on your own screen.
I mean, I'm not looking at your screen. My spies told me you had 400k.
Your spies, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wow, and you scam pay. How, does that make you feel good? Like, do you feel
No,
good?
I did not
when you
scam
when you went
pay.
to bed, were you like, I scam pay for her gold?
What scam are you even talking
They
about?
said apparently you did. You
They had a great time. She had a ton of fun
and
playing.
you took
Did you see how much she was smiling, how happy she was?
You took two mil from Ari as well.
No,
What do you
I
need
was
the money
borrowing
for?
it, and I gave it back because I need to buy enchants. I don't need gold, and I'm crafting gear.
Ask your chat for some gold. Why do you have to get it from your friends?
It's like I'm willing to invest to play with my teammates, but it's really not the other way around, which is very weird.
All right, that's fair.
All right, invite me to group.
I don't know your name.
Pika broke.
How do you spell that?
Pika.
That's it?
Oh, Pika broke.
Do you say bro? Pika bro? Broke?
PikaBroke.
Okay, I understand. A moment, please.
You /invite.
I'm looking
space.
again, dude. Please, you're stressing me out. I'm trying to get talents. I can't. I don't know these. These are all randoms. Like who's fluent?
Why didn't you just copy Zen's talents?
I don't
thought
know
you
his
knew exactly
name.
who to copy.
Because he makes.
Just look at the top guy.
Do I trust this top? Okay, I'll just trust the top
guy. Yeah, sure. Just trust it.
Right.
Use your own intuition. Does it look right? Does it feel right? It's like, yeah, this is probably right then.
I guess I'll just go with it. I guess. But the thing is, twos is like, if you're good in twos, that doesn't mean you're good in general. Like.
Why are you worried about being good or not?
I don't want to be bad.
So I can try to see if Ari has any talents I can copy. Take a look.
Stop. Just stop.
Yeah, so I just got a full new set of gear. This is looking good. Let's take a look.
Oh, you're so small. Oh, you have a little hammer.
That's what she said, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, sorry.
Is this your PvE gear you're in?
Yeah. Why? Why? This is not. I don't PvE on this character. I literally brought this character out of retirement to play with you, so you should be honored.
Yeah, it looks like it. You don't even have a third honor talent. I don't. You know who else has that? Bots. They don't even pick a third honor talent.
What do you mean? Just hold on.
They don't enchants either, or gems.
Okay, because I don't even have my gear on. Dude, this is not my PvP gear. I don't play this character.
Is there any chance you could like not play holy or no?
Wait, why? Just give it a chance, please.
Dude,
just give it
You're
one.
missing a ring. You're missing shoulders.
I'm
You're missing
putting
a
it
cape.
on
You're missing a neck.
I'm
You're missing
putting
two trinkets.
I said Q, and while you Q, I was gonna put it on.
You're missing the most important. Do you have a second ring?
I'm putting it on. Oh my god, you're giving me anxiety. Wait, I'm kind of nervous.
Do you have any enchants? Do you need to buy some right now?
No, don't worry.
Maybe get a weapon enchant, chest enchant, leg enchant could be good, and 2 ring enchants. It's like
Yeah.
630 mastery.
Target party
Big
one.
deal.
Okay.
You need my option house mount.
No,
The
I
BBB.
already have one of
I got
those.
the auctioneer on your side. You can just use it.
No, thank you. I'm almost ready. Okay, scroll down. Oh shoot, oh shoot, oh shoot.
My mount kind of like blends into the wall. I don't know if you can see me.
This is bad. Target party.
Should I just go D-stance
No,
maybe?
no, it's fine.
You need a buff? Nice. I'm
Oh
lit.
no.
Alright. What?
I just have the wrong target bind. It's fine.
What should we do here? Is it do go rogue or?
Wait, why don't I have, oh my god, I don't have the add-on. I don't have the add-on. What's it called? You know the thing on the
Blade
side?
sword. Yeah, Gladius.
I don't have Gladius installed.
Yeah, I'm cranking. I'm stunned. I'm sitting this.
Nope, no prob.
Wait, I'm actually about to cook right now.
Wait, I think I have the wrong binds. Oh my god, everything's wrong.
I'm just gonna wall because
Okay, sure.
I'm just gonna interview you too. Can this guy stop
Wait,
lagging
kill
everyone?
him, kill him, kill him. Dude, I'm gonna
Kill
right
him,
click on
kill
this
him,
guy.
kill him.
Okay, I'm right clicking him to set focus.
Slow. Most damage.
Wait, I'm
Most
stunning
damage.
him? Bro, I had to MD him.
Control 9,
Shut
Shadow.
the fuck up! I know how to do it.
I got it.
Kill him,
I got it.
60. I
took
killed
it
him. I
off.
just dead. Shadow or death. I did it.
Kill him. I took it off and I
Dude,
killed him.
I killed him. I got him.
You did not kill him.
Yes, I did.
Look at the damage. You did nothing.
What are you talking about? I killed him. I shadow word of death, whatever it's called. Bro, I don't even have Gladius on. I'm
This
actually
dude's trolling us now. Now
singing.
he's sitting in stealth. Oh, you know what we should do? Go to the other side.
What?
Grab both eyes at the same time. You can't stop us both. Yeah, try to mount up too if you can, so we can get a little.
Oh wait, you wanna?
I'm
Yeah,
sapped.
sure. Let me.
Can you grab the eye?
Let me just get on my mount.
I got him.
Okay, nice.
I stunned his cheap shot. Fear him.
I'm right clicking. Oops. I just opened
He's
edit
gonna
mode.
vanish. Please, daughter. Oh my god.
I can't. I have the wrong shrink down my bar too.
Oh my god. Please stop.
What? Are you dead? Okay. Sorry. I didn't have my shrink on my bar. My bad. I wasn't prepared. Thanks for gifting. Thanks for the prime. Can you help? Can you help?
Yeah.
I'm an angel form. I don't understand why you're laughing.
Oh my god. Alright, we got it. We're good.
That's weird. Why'd you get the killing blow? Macro. I need to fix the macro real quick. Yeah, I use macros and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what that is. Like maybe you could try them out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's good. Use some macros. Maybe get some gear down too.
15 minutes later.
Okay, now I'm ready and I can like focus stuff.
Should I go? Ooh, what if I go like Death Wish? You think that's good?
Sure. Do you know where this mount is from?
My book mount? This is from completing all of the Mage Tower challenges on every kind of class. Tank, healer, DPS, caster, range. I did it in every class in the game. That's where this book mount's from.
Nice. Who are you gonna go?
I'll just shoot whoever I can.
Oh no.
I am cranking them both.
What's my fear? Oh, I missed my fear.
This guy, he's just dead. I mean, I swear, Fury is...
Yeah, I'm doing damage.
You said no Fury, huh?
No. I didn't say that.
You literally said no to Fury. Do you see what I'm doing to these people? No class does this.
Bro, we're in like 1200.
Oh, you're one of those people, huh?
They're
Oh,
noobs.
you're one of those people. That's not how that works.
It's not fair because you're like the best person to play the game. So like, of course they're gonna lose to you.
I see. I never think like that. These are not noobs. We don't know who we're fighting.
I guess that's true, but like, I don't know.
Completely insane.
Oh, you're so right. I didn't pick a third PvP time. It's the person's build that I took, I think.
Still have no talent.
Ooh, should I take Ray of Hope?
Ray of Hope, that's what you should take.
You don't even... What do you know about Holy Priest?
I can log on a Holy Priest right now and tell you how to play it.
Like, that's fine, but I'm just saying, like, I've never seen you play Holy Priest.
My main teammates talked about my healing, huh? They said 06. They typed it backwards or something. Maybe she was talking about you, I'm not sure. Have you lost 06 in something recently?
No, I don't play Shuffle anymore.
Or just like in anything?
No.
Huh.
Maybe they're talking about you.
Don't think so.
Well then, yeah, they probably are because it's your chat.
We don't know. People have conversations all the time with people. Who knows? Could be talking about something else.
Okay. Whatever that's supposed to mean.
I think I'm gonna run a disarm into this. What do you think?
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright. Cool. I'm gonna just
You know what?
just get in there on the loss
Same, I'll go
right
on the
here.
other side. I'm behind him.
Perfect. I think I'm about to just. Oh, yo, wait, whoa, what do you?
What?
What do you?
What?
I was gonna like try to stun that guy.
Well, I decided to. Alright, I'm in my angel form. Your PI.
Cut. Cranking.
Um,
I'm eating this dude alive right now, low key. I am shitting all over this guy, actually.
Okay, nice.
Careful.
Yeah. I'm running away.
I disarmed him. We're fine. We're fine.
Nice.
Just relax. Take it easy. Nothing to worry about. Full fear. Full fear. Full fear.
I'm incapped. Sorry.
Full stun. Just fear that guy off my fear.
Yeah, sure.
And we're looking good. Oh, kill. Oh my god.
Oof.
Fury's insane. Do you
swap.
see? Did you swap?
Yes.
You're gonna die to the healer? Are you? Round crying Irene.
Stop.
Right?
I don't need that. I don't need it.
Yeah, it looks
I
like
did not need it. I had my own
Okay.
cooldowns. I don't need you to do that.
Alright. Okay.
Isn't that
I get some
crazy?
gear
I'm
off to
still
take
so
this to the
good.
main team.
Even though I don't remember how to play it. I still win all my games.
Yeah, you're really killing it.
Oh my god, by the way, did you see how the servers went down yesterday?
Yeah,
That
I
was
did.
because
I almost died.
no, I did too much healing and apparently it made the servers
Oh my
go
god,
down.
stop!
No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I did so much healing that it affected the servers.
You crashed the servers and you did so much healing.
It's crazy.
That might be the most delusional thing you have ever said.
I don't really know why. It's not really delusional if it's true.
Yeah, you must have been ripping up like a 6 key or something, doing it too fast.
Okay, can you post your IO, or I'll just ask my spies to tell me what your IO is, because
My IO has to be higher than yours.
your IO's not. I think you actually think I'm the game. Like, you're actually.
I don't.
You're annoying me.
I never said that at all.
You did. You just implied that by saying you have higher IO. You're 1500.
No, you
Bro,
said
you're
that.
1500. You don't even have the portals to any of the dungeons.
I haven't even done all the keys. Factor in my IO score with my keys completed, and then look at my completions and my times and my partials.
It's too hard.
Look at my
too
kicks
hard for
landing in
you.
those. Look at my damage avoided.
It's too hard. Stick to PvP.
What do you think? Should I go Death Wish here? Full send? Should I switch off this book
I
mount?
mean, I feel like even if whatever I say, you're not gonna do it. So,
No, I'm listening. You're my teammate.
do you have any other mounts?
I like the book mount because it's like I'm like taking them to school. You know what I mean? Like I'm teaching them a lesson out of
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like that's a
Still-
mage mount. That makes me think of a mage, like a caster mount.
No. I had to complete it on mage. That was one of the classes I completed it on.
Well, do you like this mount?
Hearthstone,
Yeah.
Hearthsteed. That one's alright. That one's kind of played out, I think.
I feel like I never see this one though.
Yeah, for a good reason. I'm actually going to decimate this guy. I know racial tattoo. Reflected. What do you get fear there? We win it,
Yeah.
yeah. Wait, we actually
No
just win.
drink, damn.
Oh yeah, they like nerf
Read it?
Trank or something. I'm not gonna wall here. I'm just gonna sit it, tough it out. Trust you.
Yeah.
This is our death wishing here added too.
Okay.
Clone DR. Oh, he walls.
Mine him, I guess. I kind of forgot about that thing.
I reflected fear.
Nice.
Wait, I think we just win the game like right now. We just kill him. Death wishing again.
Okay. Kill him? Oh, he's dead?
Kill him.
Nice.
Fury is so good. Fury is crazy. This never happens, I swear.
This is what happens when you play with me. It's the soap effect.
I'm gonna switch up the book now. Let's see.
Oh, that's a good one.
Which one?
The Jack.
RFK Jr. I can't stay too long. I have a German Shepherd slow roasting on my grill that I have to tend to.
She actually is in school to be a gynecologist.
It's a totally unnecessary profession, but okay. You just need to eat wheatgrass, ladies. Just have wheatgrass every 3 days. You're fine.
What's that?
It's fermented owl urine because I'm low on electrolytes. You know what's tough about it is the owls have what's called a colloquia, which is the vagina and the asshole are one thing. So it's more like a vast hole of sorts. And so what I have to do to get the urine is I have to filter out the feces, which you can never get all the feces out. Oh, Jesus Christ. This cures measles, mumps, and I'm hoping herpes. Please God, herpes. Oh,
You want to fuck? Get tested.
I'm herpes free at the bottom of this glass. So.
Are y'all gonna force people to get the vaccinations? I mean, what are y'all gonna do there?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to force you to do, because I can see by your sunken eyes you don't have enough iron in your blood. You're losing blood, and so what I want you to do for me is I want you to save your feces, and I want you to leave it out in the sun, and then I want you to just sprinkle that on your oatmeal in the morning, and you'll thank me. You'll thank me for it.
Do I think I don't like girls? Nah, I do think I like girls, but am I fucked up in the head sexually? Yeah, I've been fucked up in the head sexually for 20 years. Didn't work out. So.
RFK Jr.
This is why we've got to stop with the goddamn vaccines. Who's the one with MS? Is that?
My mama.
All right, I want you to do something because I can cure this. All right, listen. No, I'm being. I want you to give her this. It looks like a lifesaver, but it's not. This is dehydrated bat cum. It's got no. That's all you need to do. By the way, here I have some kangaroo meat. If you want to take a bite off that.
You actually have kangaroo
Some
meat?
kangaroo meat. It's really high in vitamin Q. If anybody's interested in trying. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose.
Have you even heard of Electric State? I'm yawning because I just finished watching it. I imagine you haven't heard of Electric State, but you probably have heard of $320 million. What if I told you that was the budget for this film? It's diabolical to be spending $320 million on a movie that has less hype than Big Chungus right now. The only reason I even heard any peeps about this film is because a lot of people mentioned this absurd budget, and also that it's just not a good movie either. It has like a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes, with most critics getting their weenies out and spit roasting it. Now, I finished it, so I'll give you a review on it, but I have, like multiple times now, ranted and raved about how preposterous these budgets have become for movies that don't warrant it whatsoever. Like Borderlands, for example. And this has to be a scam, right? There has to be some kind of like dirty dealings, money laundering, something. Because after watching this, I truly cannot understand where this money went. Chris Pratt is in it, so maybe he took like a fourth of the budget just to have him in it. I have no idea, but if I was an accountant working for Netflix right now, you might find me trying to drown myself in the bathtub, because this is just outrageous. Like, this is, it's criminal. $320 million for a stinker of this caliber. It doesn't make sense. Like, the numbers don't add up. It's directed by Joe and Anthony Russo of Marvel fame, and I think maybe Netflix thought they were going to get their own Avengers movie, but what they got instead was the Ass-Vengers here. Not the most creative of insults, but this movie has sapped my neurons right now. They're not firing on all cylinders. Now, I learned from Stream that Electric State is actually based on a graphic novel. I don't know how expensive it was to get the rights to do that, but by far the best part about this movie is the robot design. The robots look amazing. I'm actually a huge fan of the way the robots look, and really the whole world that's here is a really interesting one. If only it told an interesting story. Maybe it cost $150 million to get the rights to adapt this graphic novel, and they had no budget left for writers, but it is inexcusable. Why would you have this much of a budget and allocate none of it to the most important part of a movie, the story? Giving the viewer a reason to get invested and care. Because there is none of that here at all. It is so flat. It is a slog to get through. It tells the most generic story we have seen no less than 100 times before. No deviations from the formula whatsoever. Within the first 15 minutes, you know how the whole movie is going to play out and exactly and it doesn't care. It's unapologetic about that, which I could almost excuse if the journey there was enjoyable, but it's not. Is it a 17% on Rotten Tomatoes bad? No, not quite. I'd probably put it around like the 30% ballpark-ish, and that's mainly just because it is really carried by the robots. I just think they're very cool, but they don't get utilized at all. They
The Adeptus Custodes are the pinnacle of humanity. They are peerless warriors standing above even the power of the Astartes. Truly indestructible and unstoppable. Wielding the most powerful and exotic weapons and dressed in royal red and gilded gold, they don't rely on stealth or cunning. Their raw power is enough to turn the tide of any battlefield. In fact, they have never once lost a fight. They are the bodyguards of the Emperor himself. And I think they look like dumb, shiny bananas. I've always had a love-hate relationship with the Custodes. I've read their lore, I've read stories about them, and they're so incredibly cool. But when I look at those models in the Games Workshop web store, when I'm riding high off of the energy that those stories gave me, and I see those golden bananas just sitting there on the Games Workshop web store, they just don't really excite me. But I want to try. I want to see if I can make some Custodes that make me really happy. I've already put together my kill team, 3 spear guys, and 1 sword dude. And I already think they're looking just a little bit better than the ones in the Games Workshop web store. I've done some subtle modifications. I took some green stuff and I shoved it into their tummies to add a little bit of height, and I also put a little blob of green stuff between their necks and their bodies to add even more height. So my Custodes actually stand just a little bit taller than Intercessor Space Marines, which is very appropriate. I want to see if I can make these Custodes look like how I feel Custodes should look like. I don't want them to look like tacky gold statues. I want them to look epic and grim dark and super cool. And I'm going to paint them gold without using a single gold paint to do it.
Give me a sec.
These Custodians are lean, mean fighting machines, and I haven't glued them down to the bases yet. I'm actually going to be doing some assemblies for this project. Right now, they're just poster puttied on because of the bases I made for these. The only bases for the golden bananas, some marble. I did this by rolling some milliput out flat, then letting it harden, then cutting it into squares, chipping and snapping it here and there, and then gluing them to cork. I think it makes for very impressive bases for some very impressive Superboys. I stuck everything down in some paint handles. It's time to get to work. Now, I mentioned I don't really like how Games Workshop painted their Custodes, and it's not really the Heavy Metal team's fault. They're stuck using only Games Workshop paints and only the way that Games Workshop prescribes their paints to be used. Retributor armor, Reichland Flesh Shade, Auric armor gold, Liberator gold, Stormhost silver. Even after all of those colors, the models lack any real contrast, because all of those colors are very similar to one another. Now, if you hop on over to Forge World's web store and take a look at their Custodes, you'll notice that they look way better. They have tons of contrast. I'm not exactly sure how they painted their models, but I bet it's going to be very similar to how I'm going to paint mine. I primed the minis black. It's really the only primer color I use. I like having my shadows taken care of from the jump. Then, for step 1 of gold, you guessed it, gunmetal. I sprayed this all over their gilded bodies. Then a little Minotaur Ghost Tint Green, a transparent green paint. I'm doing some true metallic metal voodoo, and it's important to think about what metallic paint really is. It's tiny glitter mixed into gloss paint medium. This green tint will be the start of my shadows.
I'm streaming.
I really like these ghost tints.
You are?
No, dude. Of course. I'm a poker streamer now, dude. Come on. Insane. You know? This is the road to 100K. Come on. I'll beat Polk there. Come on.
Yeah, dude. Road to 100K. 100 BZs.
I don't get to use them very often because they have a very glossy finish, but that's perfect for working over metallics. If you're doing something like Alpha Legion or Thousand Suns for Horus Heresy, this is a great option. My shadows were not quite dark enough, so I sprayed some black paint. I want their butts and armpits dark, so these models end up with a lot of contrast. Then a highlight of some white aluminum, the brightest silver paint I can find. Now the models were looking good, but I had a nagging feeling in the back of my mind. I haven't used magenta yet. I need to use magenta on every project I paint, so I sprayed it on. I don't know how much this will affect the final product, but I had to do it. Now I've built up a good amount of contrast, but I want more. I want every little detail to really pop, so I threw on a wash. Army Painter Dark Tone.
Ooh,
Because
dude,
it's
nice
more
big hand,
satin
big
gloss
hand.
finish than Games Workshop's Null Oil.
Big hand
Perfect
alert.
for metallics. The wash is dry. It's time to turn these
Are you on a
suckers
delay?
into true custodies. I'm not doing any weird heretical silver custodies. These are going to be true golden boys. And the secret sauce to completing them is going to be orange ink. Orange ink is pure magic. When painted over any sort of silver, it instantly transforms into gold. If you dust it on, you get a lighter yellow gold, and if you really hose down a model, it turns into a dark, saturated brown gold. But before I do that, I really like this silver, and I want it to stay exactly like it is on the magazines and handles of the gun, sword, spear thingies. So I put some silly putty over the spots I want to keep. Then it was time for gold. I loaded up my weapon and sprayed it on. Instantly, the models came to life, the boys turned into a lovely shade of gold. And demasking is always a joy. I dry brushed on top of the gold to do the highlighting for me. I don't like edge highlighting. I find it tedious and unnecessary. A few swipes with the dry brush and all the details were highlighted to my satisfaction.
Like an $11
Now
one
that
that's
is
like
some
a 9K
gold.
guarantee.
Some nice dark burnished gold. All without touching a paintbrush. Dry brushes don't count. But now it is time to touch a paintbrush. I love models like this, where I can do some sort of simple, quick effect on the vast majority of the mini, then I can spend my real painting time going hard on the details.
What do you mean?
This red was a joy to paint. If I was doing a scheme like the Paidonoris Caligas or Shadowkeepers, it would have doubled or tripled how long each guy's armor would have taken to paint. But with pretty much just this red to worry about, it was a dream. All painted with Evil Sun Scarlets and a mix of black paint. Starting with the dark red, I carefully worked up through brighter and brighter shades of red, until I got pure white. Then, a glazing of red and the armor accents and their fancy ponytails were done.
Dude, how come Andrew
the
takes
red
your avatar?
really made these suckers come to life. Although, I'm going to be taking a break from these bananas to eat a banana
I'm hustling,
and to
bro.
work on these bases, because I'm really jazzed about these bases.
Hustlers University, bro.
These bases need to become marble, and the best way to do that is with wet wipes. Yes, really. First, I airbrushed some almost white light green onto the bases. I'm going to be working light to dark. Then, I took my dry wet wipe. It's important to let it dry out. Then, I carefully pulled it apart until it was almost ripped. That way, there was room in between the fibers so that I could put paint through it. Then, I held the wet wipe over the bases and airbrushed right on top of it. It left behind some really natural-looking shapes that have soft edges. You can stop whenever you'd like to, but I want to keep going to darken these suckers up. I sprayed again with dark green. This gave some nice contrast, and then a blue-green over everything. That way the marble has lots of layers. This is probably marble from the Golden Palace of Terra, so it should be super fancy. I glazed some more blue-green onto the cork, and then I airbrushed some gloss paint over top to really sell the polished marble. A little bit of black wash to accentuate the cracks, and the marble was done. I glued down the golden boys because I couldn't wait to see what they looked like. Man, do those custodies look good on the green bases. The green 40mm bases. 40mm bases are by far my favorite sizes of bases because of how unusual they are. Most things are on 25s, 28.5s, or 32mm bases, so the 40mm are always something special. And speaking of special, custodies are the specialist of the special guys, and so they deserve only the finest bases, and that's what I've glued them to: Cobalt Keep bases. Cobalt Keep makes the highest quality wargaming bases around, featuring all the sizes you need, sizes like the ubiquitous 25mm base, the mighty 32mm base, even the monstrous 170mm oval. No matter what size base you need, Cobalt Keep has it. And what makes their bases so special? Well, they use more plastic than their competitors, giving their bases a robust and strong feel. Sometimes, especially the larger size wargaming bases can have too much flex, but with Cobalt Keep bases, they are rigid and durable no matter how hard you go with the modeling.
Ooh. Wow.
And looking under a Cobalt Keep base, you will see an integrated magnet well, perfect for accepting a nice strong magnet that their bases are sold with or without. These magnets are perfect for holding your miniatures firmly to any magnetic surface so you can transport or display your miniatures without worry. Cobalt Keep was started with the goal of bringing innovative and affordable products to the growing world of miniature hobbyists, and they have definitely succeeded. These bases are world class. And if you shop with our code, BASES10, you can get 10% off your purchase of Cobalt Keep bases for the next 2 weeks. Okay,
What's on your stream? Is it
nothing
just
but
the
fun steps from here on out. about
It's
what
like my,
details do I want to tackle
like a web browser and my.
Oh, okay.
Next. I think I want to work on those weapons. As nice as the golden shafts of their guardian spears look in gold, I want them to stand out more against their bodies, so I painted the handles purple. Then I base coated the rest with black speed paint, carefully working around the fancy Art Nouveau details. Then a little edge highlighting of gray to accentuate the shapes and angles in the handle. Then it was time for the blades. I base coated these with magic blue and began highlighting the tips up to pure white. Then came the painstaking task of painting on little lightning bolts. The Custody weapons should be extra special, so I don't want to do classic power swords. But after 2 hours of trying to get these lightning bolts right, I did wish I just left it magic blue and called it a day. I did the same thing on the Sentinel blade, and on the blade I decided to go with long horizontal lightning bolts instead of short vertical ones, and I think it turned out way better. It was a lot easier to do, and it made for a more lightning-y looking lightning. I put a coat of gloss paint over the weapons to seal in the flavor, and they were done. Oh, so many tiny little lightning bolts. Sometimes when I'm painting a kill team, it cures me of my desire to start that army in big 40k, because I don't know how many times I could paint Custodes weapons. With that being said though, these guys are getting really close to tabletop time. One thing I'm still pondering is what to do with all of these Custodes balls. They're not quite as bally as the Necrons, but they do have all of these little balls as decorations. I painted one guy up to have red balls, but is that the move? Do I add in another color and maybe make them a little bit fancier? Or is yellow and red the perfect color for the Custodes bodies? And then the accents can be their blue power swords and their green bases. I might need to test it out. On the first pair of balls, I want to try this jade green from Vallejo, one of my favorite colors of all time. I started with a base coat, then a highlight, then a lighter highlight, then a specular dot of white on top of the balls. I like how this looks a lot, but maybe there's something better. Next, I want to try a little Barney the Purple Dinosaur
Stack
purple.
his ass. What's
I
up?
applied the purple, and it also did something nice for the armor, but I don't know if I'm sold. The last color I want to try out is blue. It's kind of hard to read, but that says heavy blue. The blue is a slightly different shade of blue to the weapons, but it also looks nice to have the same color brought back into the armor. Dang, those are some good looking balls. I can't decide what color I like best, but maybe I'll just leave it as 4 different guys with 4 different colors. It kind of makes sense because Custodes aren't actually soldiers. Every single Custode is a very unique individual, and so I think it is very fitting to have a little something unique about every single one. And you know what is also very unique? That's right, the Eons of Battle Patreon. Over there, we have brand new terrain sets every month. This month, we have the Starship Bridge, a modular grimdark spaceship interior, complete with stained glass windows. This set is available for the month of March and is hosted through Comics, Games, and Things. On our Patreon, you can also watch extra episodes of EOB, join live Discord hangouts, and get your name on Space Marines. These Custodes are pretty much done. The only thing left is the Leader's Cape. And I am very bad at capes. I've been trying for years to come up with the perfect formula, the perfect recipe for super easy capes. Airbrushes, oil washes, dry brushing, glazes, contrast paint, speed paint, and I've never found anything that I really, really like. So I think I'm just gonna
Wait, what just happened? Did you double up on somebody?
So,
I really don't know how that works, cause his hand beat me, right?
What did he have? I didn't see it.
He had, what do you call it? Ace pair. Queen pair. But I said I won. Maybe I was blind to something.
You're blinded by fucking greatness.
True.
This Toddy boy guy is just going
I
off.
just spent
on
my life
screen.
savings on a cabin in the woods. And I'm going to be living here full time because it was cheaper than buying a 1-bedroom apartment in Canada. It does have a 3-season cabin, but it doesn't have a bathroom or a shower. It has a bathhouse, but it was built without the permit, so it can't be used. I'm still
Did you-
going to be
did you hit
making
2
outdoor
pair or
adventure
something, maybe?
videos, but I'm so excited to bring
Maybe.
you guys on this next chapter. There's going to be cabin build, how I can live off the land more sustainably and use the resources on this acreage. I'm also now 4 hours away from where I used to live. I'm close to my favorite mountain ranges. This is just the beginning of bigger and better adventures, and this would not have been possible if you guys didn't keep coming back and watching these videos. So I'm so glad that you're here, and let's get into a house tour. Or I guess I should say property. It is 15 acres in a small, tiny mountain town in British Columbia, and I never thought this day would come, but this is our well, and the previous owners put it in. Thank goodness for that, because they had to dig 260 feet to get water. Digging a well is one of the more expensive things that comes with living semi-off-grid like this. It would have cost them tens of thousands of dollars. It gets more expensive the deeper you have to dig, but apparently that's very common for this area. Spoke to some of our neighbors, and they had to dig upwards of 600 feet. This is the actual well that's dug into the ground, and then it gets pumped to the well house, and from the well house it goes back down to the cabin and the bathhouse. This is the really creepy well house, so this is how it works. So you basically just have to put dogs in there, and the way it works is the well fills up. Right now the top 2 feet is frozen, but we can still access water from the ground, so that's no problem. If it ever overflows, it goes into this pipe, and that pipe is underground and comes out here and drains into the little river we've got. It's very important we keep this locked so a dead animal doesn't get in there, and because that would be really bad for our drinking water. Not really sure what these are. I think they're water shutoffs. Oh, that's screwed. This is all very much a learning process. This is the first home I've ever owned. Oh, wow. And it's kind of not technically a home. This is considered vacant land, even though it has utilities. So there's some insulation. Oh, okay, I see. I thought that might have been a dead body.
Yes.
But it's just
8 high for the win,
insulation in
baby.
a garbage
Oh, he had a
bag.
straight, huh?
And then
Yeah,
you can
straight.
see the shut-off valve.
Sorry, that was... Didn't realize you had a
This
straight.
is
It's pretty
another
sick.
shut-off valve. And this guy is the main shut-off valve. There's a lot going on with this well house. Yeah, so let me show you how we get water to the bathhouse. Okay, so septic. Underneath here, that's a septic system. It's big enough for 2 bedrooms. So if ever wanted to have a family here, it would need to be expanded, but it's good for the foreseeable future for now. This is the bathhouse. Whoever put it up didn't get the right permits for the plumbing, so there's a stop work order on it. So yes, we are technically not allowed to use this. We did get an inspector to come through here and double check everything, so we're going to be moving all the plumbing over to the tiny cabin, and that'll be a whole nother episode, but that's kind of the short-term plan right now. So we've got washer and dryer, which is really amazing. We don't have to go out and buy these appliances. There is indeed a porcelain throne, and we've got a shower. The goal is to do any renovations as cheap as possible. So we're going to be using the shower head and get as many free components as we can so that we can just put it in the other cabin. Got a nice little vanity here. This looks like someone's DIY project, but the sink does work. When we got here, the water was not on because it wasn't in use and the pipes would freeze because they're not properly insulated, but we did turn the water on. So there's a little utilities closet in the illegal bathroom. This is a tankless propane hot water heater for the shower, and there's hot water in the cabin. The water filtration system is here also. So it goes through a 4-stage filtering. So this is the biggest filter. The water comes down from the well and it takes out all the big particles. And then it goes through this filter, and then it goes through this guy, which has a UV light bulb in it and kills all the remaining bacteria. So you can see the well water, creek water. We're only pulling from the well water, but there was a permit to get creek water. It's still in progress when we bought the place, so I don't know. We'll see if we can get that as well as a backup. There's electric panel in here for the washer and dryer, and yeah. Anything you see here is whatever the previous owner left behind. We haven't moved anything here. So bath mats, dish towels, pots and pans. We asked if they wanted to leave everything so that, you know, we could use what they had. They said yes. So it came with a sea can. The first thing my mom said when she saw this was to turn it into an Airbnb. But I think for safety reasons, I'm not gonna Airbnb out any of this space. The previous owners owned this for a total of like 5 months before they sold it off. I think it was just too much for them. I honestly have no idea, don't know why they sold it so quickly. But I guess we're gonna find out if something's wrong with this place. So this is going to be a place for tools, a bit of a workshop. Okay, we're gonna work on that. Got a little parking spot, and beside the sea can is this shed. It's got a ton of wood. I was here for a total of maybe 45 minutes before I decided to buy it, so a lot of this is going to be new for even me. I think that will need to turn into a place where I store garbage. There is an interesting deck right here. I think this would be a good spot to put one of my canvas tents, so I can live in that while we're renovating the cabin. The plan is to put a bathroom in there. I guess I'm gonna have to live in a tent because I gotta sleep somewhere. We're gonna have to do a lot of cleanup, and it's spring, so it's the perfect time for this. All right, looks like we've got some garden fencing, some barbecue tools. I'm not even sure what that is. That's for another day. A kiddie pool. This would be nice for dogs. And there's a couple of tarps under here. Those will come in handy. I feel like someone was using that as a slip and slide. All right, yeah, we're gonna have to clean a lot of this garbage up. There is a lot of wood piles on this property, which is so good. All of it's harvested from the land, and the cabin is heated by a wood burning stove. So we've got this pile, wood pile number 2, wood pile number 3, wood pile number 24. There's 2 big propane tanks, so there's a bird. There's 2 giant propane tanks hooked up to the cabin. It fuels the fridge, which is kind of unique, the oven, and it heats the hot water. Outside the cabin, there's some garden boxes. Definitely going to be growing food, and as much as we can. This cabin is 16 feet by 16 feet. And the reason this property is considered vacant land is because this is not large enough to be considered a dwelling, and it also doesn't have plumbing for a bathroom or shower. The bedding didn't come with the purchase of the house, but the actual bed did and the rug did. Pretty much every single thing except for the bedding was left here. The main source of heat is a wood-burning fire, which is really cozy, and it has all the proper paneling on the walls. It's got the propane stove, and these cabinets were put up in about 2016. The previous owners took it literal when we asked them to leave whatever they wanted. So there's glasses, and there's a bunch of Yeti mugs, which is pretty nice. Some pancake mix that expired in 2023, so we're just gonna go straight to throwing that out. Everything under here was all left behind, so there's some cloths and a few colors. I think there is not a lot of storage in here. I don't know what any of this stuff is. I really love this mural that they've painted. Okay, got some pots and pans. All of this cabinetry I think is handmade. There's an interesting staircase choice, but let's go explore up there. What is this? Oh, 12-pack garage hooks, heavy duty. Oh, score. I'm very interested to see what's in here. It's like Christmas morning. Some heavy duty hooks. These are going to have to become storage containers or something. We're working on the entire layout. Kiro, do you love it here? He's so tired. He's been running around all morning. They've built some type of bunk bed, and there's some sketchy drawers that hopefully no one's underneath you if you drop them. I think the idea was to put a bed up here because it looks like it's the size of a queen bed. Looks like there's just some bedding in there. These are all storage bins. All the hot air from the stove is going to be coming up here. So what we're thinking is to enclose the deck and make that where the bed will be and the bathroom. The foundation is really strong for the deck, so reuse all the materials and just put them there with some walls. I think that would be big enough for a bathroom and a bedroom. So this paneling will go against that wall. This is a 5 by 9 foot bathroom, which is very standard, so it is the perfect fit. That is a shower, toilet, and the vanity, some extra storage that can go all the way up. So this will be an interior door, queen size bed, and then this is the closet here. I am still going to be making outdoor adventure content. We are in the West Kootenays.
Girl, I didn't know you better.
Ampi, Dendy, do you want to make a prediction for the finals? A bit unorthodox for your own match, but stage is yours.
Okay, it's gonna be close games. 3-2?
I think a 3-2 as well. Maybe a 2-3. We'll see.
How much of your practice, Ampi, went specifically to preparing for the eventuality of facing Dendy, considering you first had to worry about groups?
Most of my human practice went for Dendy.
Wow. How about you, Dendy? Did you consider practicing specifically for Ampi at all, or did you just try to develop your own strengths?
I didn't do specific practice, but I was looking into night elves, of course, and yeah, like my two biggest weaknesses, as I said before, like beating night elf army and beating orc army. I was struggling with that a lot, but it's getting a little bit better.
How do you feel
Have
about
some ideas?
Cool. We'll be looking to see that. Not going to ask what they are, of course. Dendy, good luck. Ampi, final words. How do you feel about facing Dendy's human?
He's a terror. I'm going to be surrounded on the battlefield. I know it. I just got to find a way out.
All right. Good luck, both of you. Let's jump into the game. Gonna mute Devin, and we'll take it away.
Oh, we can do.
Good luck.
Oh, you want to say something?
Caster predictions.
With them in the call?
No.
No, please.
Just mute
Make
them and
it
then we do
deafened,
caster
right?
predictions. Just mute them and then we do it.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to go first, Guzu?
Yeah, okay, I'll go first. Okay, so I face both Dendy and MP. I will say
Yeah.
they are extremely good, both of them. The thing that Dendy does like insanely well is his micro. He lags a little bit behind on his base whenever he starts going crazy with it, but he makes up for it by being an absolute god micro Andy. So, and then MP overall, I think MP is just overall really good. He has really good macro, just insane. But I do think, if I were to guess, I think Dendy's gonna take it 3-2.
Okay. I respect that. Now, I agree with a lot of what you said. Some other things are, so Dindy, he kind of has the same plan every single game from what he's shown. He has that early expo. So after he gets that early expo, he's allowed to make mistakes. It's like a 4-minute expo. He has the income to, int his units to take unfavorable trades where he can like pump more units out, blah, 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 blah. Oppie, he really does an expo. So I feel like he has to, Oppie, hopefully practice something to stop Dindy from getting that 4-minute plus whatever it is expo. So then Dindy is like free game. Now Oppie, he's a tryhard. He's a super sweat. He locks in. I truly believe he's been putting in most of his practice towards Dindy. I don't really he probably watched a couple of my VODs, probably watched a couple of Geronimo, maybe VODs, whatever. I think 90% of his practice has been for Dindy, for human. He usually does extremely well against human as well. So I mean, I'm excited to see it. Me personally, I got Oppie 3-2. Just because he's adaptable and humans, he puts in the work. I think he has VOD reviewed his ass off of what he does. He knows that Expo's coming. He's going to do his best to stop it, and, he adapts. He comes up with threats. I'm excited to see it. I got Oppie.
I agree. I think it all comes down to how MP responds to the expo. That is probably coming. But let's see, Melting Valley.
Here we go, game 1.
Yeah, MP has got some... Go ahead.
Nope, I'm just
Ampi's got some special builds in the chamber here for the matchup against Dendy, most likely. He has shown a pretty big hero diversity. We're talking about Demon first, Panda first, Warden first. I think in particular Warden first could be interesting. Hold up a second. Hold the phones. We're already deviating far from the usual. This is a Tavern Hero opener.
Yep, I told you guys, this is what he does. He is cooking for this moment for the last 2 weeks. He plays most of his games. He doesn't necessarily play that. He plays a shit ton of games, but he's spending so much time outside of the game, learning and getting coaching and researching. So yeah, he's gonna cook something up here.
You guys predicted 3-2s. I'm going to do a prediction as well. I think it's going to be Dendi 3-1. I think Ampi's preparation is considerable and formidable. But ultimately, the early expansion, like you said, Tyler, gives a lot of extra leeway for mistakes, which Dendi does make. Let's not blow him up too much. But he has also done his preparations, and his coach was Foggy, who has been the best Night Elf in Europe for the better part of the last 10 years. So he should have a pretty good grasp of this matchup. Having said that, though, it's going to be Mountain King first. That's anything but traditional.
Yeah. Also, Elder coming out here. So Mountain King is something that Denti likes to play. He likes to get those big, what is it called? The hammer? The hammer he throws gets a big surround all the units afterwards, and then he just kills it instantly. Ampy is going for a very scary Ancient of War creeping down there with the Ice Troll Warlord. That will be difficult to do, but Ampy is an absolute legend at creeping. He's practiced it so hard, and he's become very good in the mere 2 weeks he's played.
Yep, and he always sends out these early, like, Wisp scouts. So he is going to know what's going on. And again, on this map, Dindy always goes to this bot expo first. Always. He did it against you. He did it against me. He does it all the time. I think that's why he even picks this map. Fair.
Yeah, this map is quite big, and it's quite easy to get an expansion in because the gold mine is quite close to it. He has his footman placed up towards the Ice Troll Waller, which means that he's going to go for an early militia clear while MP is doing the Ice Troll Waller in the south. And yeah, Dendi will do the same thing in the top because humans are amazing at creeping with the militia. MP has seen it though with the scout that you called up, Tyler, as well.
Yeah, so he...
What?
Nah, just sore.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling.
He knows what's going on. He knows he's not going to the...
Yo. TFT.
Sorry, I gotta go. I get another call.
Oh shit. Oh, alright. Later.
Later. You know how the markets react whenever there is a government shutdown?
It's generally not good.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you think it would just have tanked the stock market even more? I mean, it's already still going down, but
I mean, like, I don't know about the tank, but I mean, it usually reacts poorly to that kind of information. 'Cause it's like, oh, there's less people who have jobs, therefore less money
the
to
jobs
spend.
report was horrible, wasn't it?
It wasn't too bad. You have to think like, it's usually they usually do like year over year, quarter over quarter on those. So they'll be like, oh, last January it was X, Y, Z or whatever. It's just in comparison. And I don't really think like this jobs report was that bad. I think future ones could be worse. But the number can be kind of like a weird skew because like if you think about it, like some people will just have multiple jobs at this point.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
isn't the unemployment number is based off of people looking for work that are not in full-time employed, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Divided the number of unemployed people by the number of people in the labor force and then multiplying the sum of the employed. I guess so. But what I'm saying is that like it would include people that are does it include people that are unemployed, like people that are doing gig work and part-time work?
See, that's the other part about the number too. Like people who do like gig work and shit, if they're paid in cash, like they're probably not going to report a tax return.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's like a lot of like weird obscurities with that whole situation.
Yeah, because I know Uber doesn't file, because I filed taxes the Uber, because I've done Uber Eats and stuff like that, so I know I have to file those I had to file those taxes, but I know that people didn't report everything.
People definitely underreport things in general.
Well, I mean, dude, like, come on.
If they can. Like, why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah. But I think I don't know. So the thing is that it's good for my job because I get to keep on working because of the continuing resolution to continue to fund the government. But I don't think it was a good thing for them to vote in favor of it personally. Like on a political level. I really don't know if the effects would have been worse or better than what they are already, but I would assume they'd be worse, but I think that that's something that would be necessary, because the thing is that they didn't work with any of the Democrats on the continuing resolution. They didn't, and so they put Democrats into a position is like, oh well, the Senate Democrats.
I was surprised that the Democrats were like trying to go against or like trying to shut the government down.
Well, so the idea behind behind it is that in the House they control, so the Republicans, they control the Senate. They have a simple majority in the Senate, and they have a majority in the House, and they have the presidency, and then they have the judiciary. So the thing is that the House Democrats, all of them voted against the bill. Main reason being is that it does cut funding for Medicare or Medicaid. Does empower them, like empower Doge more, because it's basically they didn't work so normally whenever they propose a budget, the budget's worked on by both parties, no matter what, really. Like this never really happened before where they don't discuss it at least, and then additionally, like they just try to shove it down the Democrats' throat. The House Democrats didn't go with it. The House Democrats urged the Senate Democrats to not do it. Chuck Schumer came out in favor of cloture, which the thing is
cloture?
So in the Senate, in order to pass the bill, they need a majority vote, not just a simple majority. So it needs to be I think it's like 2/3 or something like that. Well, cloture enables it to where it just needs to be a simple majority vote. So
is that good though?
That basically means that if the Senate Republicans all vote in favor of it and all the Senate Democrats voted against it, it would still pass if cloture passes. But cloture has to pass in order for it to go through. And the reason that passed is because the Senate Democrats wanted to continue to fund the government. Now, there's the reason why you want to basically put Republicans in the position where, hey, the government's going to shut down under your watch. The reason that you would do that politically, and I'm not saying that it's a good thing to do it politically, but I'm saying that like it's a
so you can blame it on them, like see what the Republicans are doing, shut down the government.
Well, no, just to bring them to the table, because the outspoken House Democrats like AOC, Bernie Sanders, Hakeem Jeffries, they did talk about. They were like, hey, like you didn't talk to us about this bill, and there's cuts in this bill that are severely against our platform. So you need to come to the table and work with us in order to get this bill this passed. Otherwise, you can just pass it yourselves because y'all control everything. The Senate is the only thing that they would have difficulty passing, and the Senate Democrats didn't utilize that as the political tool that they personally, I think they should have. Because I'm of the opinion that I think that it's pretty fucked up what's happening, and I don't think that it can continue. And
but don't you feel like that's like cutting your nose off to spite your face type thing?
No, because it's not that hard. Like, it really isn't that hard. Like, so I've been at work, and they've done what do you call it? Like last year, whenever this same thing came up, because they haven't really passed a budget bill. Really, they really just passed like continuation of funding bills and that type of stuff. It's not really like they've never really done a budget in the past 8 years, 12 years, whatever. But I've been there, and they will literally vote on it at 11:59 in order to continue. Like, it's always a game of chicken. It always is. And so
yeah, why the fuck do they do that?
Because it is a political tool every single time. It doesn't matter who's in charge and who isn't. It's used every single time. The budget's used every single time as a political tool.
色目つくまで火入れてます。そうですね、網の上でやるようにして、でこれが下につゆに旨味として落ちていく感じです。ゆっくり火入れてると中まで火入っちゃうんで、本当に2つ使って一気に表面だけを炙るようにします。今日のネギです。今日茨城からいただいてるネギですね。
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm back.
But yeah, so it's always used as a political tool, and then also in this specific situation, I think that I like personally, and maybe this is just me being a libtard or whatever. It's just I think there is a moral responsibility to stand against like this administration in some way as a Democrat in office, and I don't think that that's what they're doing in an effective way. And this was one of those opportunities where like, hey, you have the power in this situation to affect change, and to like they talk about, hey, like we don't want to defund Medicaid, but then they're voting in like for cloture to continue to fund the government in order for them to cut Medicaid. Like, it doesn't track with how they should conduct themselves.
That's what I'm saying.
If what they believe in. If it's what they believe in.
But
I'm not saying it's a good thing like
But
financially
I
or
feel like the like Democrat people, right? It's like more so like social, like helping like society as a whole type thing versus like one man for himself type situation.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
why would you like try to force the shutdown though if that was like your kind
Well,
of
the
like
idea behind forcing
platform?
once again, it's like there's no guarantee that it would have shut down in the first place because they had time. Like I said, like it's not something that's like horrible to do. It's not something that's uncommon either. So like it's when I
know
say
they have
it's
this
not
discussion like every year.
Exactly.
Like,
it's like I'm not when I'm saying it's not uncommon. I'm saying like it happens every year, and it's happened every year for as long as we've lived. But and so that's kind of where I'm coming from is like, hey, sure, on its face, you might have a bad market day because the Senate Democrats are saying we're not gonna vote in favor of cloture to pass this resolution. Now, how would a Republicans react? Well, we know how their leadership react with tariffs, right? Like they said that they were going to do tariffs full stop on everything, and then they saw how the markets reacted. They saw how private companies.
They still did it though.
They still did it, but I will say they did pause certain ones. It went from tariffs on everything to tariffs on certain things to exceptions till April 2nd, so that way we can get everything in line. Now, he hasn't changed his mind that he's going to do it, but I'm saying like that type of thing that Canada did, where it's like, hey, okay, you're gonna tariff us, we'll tariff everything too, done. Like, and
which is crazy.
When you play hardball like that with this administration, it feels like they do cave a little bit. I'm not saying that it's a good thing on the tariffs because it's still going through. I don't agree with the tariffs. Like, I think that you can use tariffs tactically, but usually that's to punish like countries politically, not to like actually raise funding and stuff like that.
It's kind of like the whole reason why like NAFTA was a thing is like to basically like make everybody have like a free flowing economy.
Exactly, and then
the tariff thing is
Trump's
kind of
like,
ridiculous.
And then Trump was like, "Hey, like that was such a bad deal. We got a bad deal. You withdrew from NAFTA and you made this deal. He made the deal. Like this is his deal that he's like complaining about."
Right.
So
no, I mean I get that part. Like, but I'm just saying like government shutdown situation.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying though is like if you look at the Canada situation, it's bad. I'm not going to say that it's not, but it went from it gave them time to do other things to try and like resolve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whenever Canada did play hardball, now I think that Democrats don't know how to play hardball. It seems like they literally do not understand like
their version of hardball is just like fuck you if I'm not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And
then they just don't do it.
Yeah, and so it's very disappointing as somebody who is in favor of Democrats on a like just a moral basis. Like at this point, it really is like it's really like I do think that the people in power, like the president, he's very corrupt. That's my personal opinion.
Sure.
But and so I can understand it politically. Like I said, I do not think that a government shutdown is good, but I also don't think that it would have happened personally, just because of the effect that it would actually have on the economy and then also the consumer confidence. Like it would just be insane. Especially too, like we're around tax season, so that means tax returns aren't going to get refunded. That type of thing. Like those are the things that people actually care about because they're like that's money that I'm not seeing in my bank account. That's like what voters actually vote on.
Right.
Which is why like Biden lost is because there was huge inflation for sure around the world. Like most incumbents around the world.
I think the inflation though is due to what Trump did initially, which was basically lower the interest rates. But it's like how it's like every president starts taking credit for like what just happened.
Yeah.
When it was really usually the president before, like Obama did that, like Trump did that, fucking Biden has something to blame on that. You know what I mean? Like it's just like a multitude of those
But
things.
my whole thing is like Biden, like I mean, he talks about manufacturing in the United States. Well, that's what the CHIPS Act was. Like that's what it is. Like it's to actually build chips in the United States. Like that was something that passed under. There was an infrastructure bill under Biden that helped. Like I think that people are like just. And the thing is that there's going to be things that kick in for Biden spending bills. I mean, I don't know if they actually will, because if Doge just cuts them off, then it's not going to happen. But like literal bridges being built because of the infrastructure build. So I think, and that's just money in the economy. That's money into construction. That's money into supplies. It's like that. I think government play in our country. Like government plays like. I think a bit too big of a role in a so-called free market, but I think it's kind of necessary at this point. Like
I think it is too big of a role.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna do? It's like you've got these other superpowers basically that are just fucking.
Well, yeah,
like
that's kind of the thing.
shit.
Like, I would love a free market where everybody got what they wanted, but the thing is that unfortunately you need regulation in order to like solve for the bad actors in businesses, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's the shitty part. So, like you and me both know that like there's a dumb rule in your classroom as a kid because of some dipshit that like messed up on something. And like
it's like don't poop in your pants.
Exactly.
Obviously.
It's like that's a sign on the wall. Don't shit yourself. and then everybody's looking at that sign like, who would do that? Meanwhile, there's like this one kid.
Oh.
There's this one kid who who that sign was for, bro.
No, literally. Yeah, it's honestly kind of ridiculous.
But yeah, like because I am a capitalist. Like that's kind of my only problem with Democrats a lot of times. I think that they do try to regulate the markets too much. But I think sometimes the markets need to be reined in, like crypto stuff like that. It's insane that it still happens.
Oh yeah, shit's so stupid. Like the crypto scams and shit that go on. It's like why let this happen?
Doesn't make any sense. I think
it's literally fucking insane.
What most of all, I think it's hilarious. Oh, I actually I'll send you this. It's interesting. Once again, it's Atrioc because it's hilarious. This idea of a crypto reserve.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, the reserve is literally like they're not gonna buy more crypto. They're just gonna hold on to the shit they fucking seized. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
dude,
what's the point in buying more? It would just devalue the dollar. Like that would be the result of it.
Yeah, it devalues. Yeah.
They have no incentive. They literally have no incentive to fucking.
No, but dude,
do that.
This is actually kind of well researched. This like as in, there's people. He talks about like I think it's David Sachs is the guy's name. Do you know that name? Do you recognize that?
Sachs? No, I don't know.
Yeah, So David Sachs, he's a part of the administration in some way, like an advisor or something like that. But he's a huge crypto guy, and so he does a podcast, and he shows it in the video that I sent you. But he does a podcast that like literally, he's like talking about pumping like Solana and stuff like that. Like he's like, oh yeah, I have like $1 billion in Solana, whatever, you know. Just so happens to be that he like, and this is before they announced the crypto reserve, so like, it's obvious pumping. Okay. It's obvious pumping, bro. Like,
yeah, they're doing the shit out of that.
It's both disturbing and also like you can't help but just think. Why can't I make that money, you know? Why didn't I have those friends?
You do, dude. You just don't know it.
Right. we're gonna go to Fort Knox. I want to see if we have the gold there. I just want to see. Okay, I don't, you know.
No. Yeah. All right.
I don't need. I haven't seen. Have you seen it? I don't know if it's there.
Hello and welcome to Grand Sumo Highlights. It's day 3 of the Harubasho. Day 3, it must be me, Murray Johnson. Good to be with you for the first time in this tournament. And this man, many thought he would bounce back day 2. He did, which was great to see. The 74th Yokozuna. He showed some excellent sumo today. Can he keep it going today and continue to win? Let's hope so for his sake. Good crowd in attendance, as there is each and every day during the Harubasho. Some fine artwork there of Oho. Let's get to the action. We kick off with Toki Hayate taking on Juryo Man Tamashoho. But he's still looking for his first top division tournament. Lucky to stay in. Rare at Maegashira 18. We don't see that too often. And this man, well, 2 straight in Juryo, 32 last week. Can he keep the win going? Good start by Tamashoho, deflects Toki Hayate. Toki Hayate gets inside though, and Tamashoho tries to keep Toki Hayate away. Tamashoho's taken to the edge and out. So they're both 2-1 after 3 days. And the Maegashira 18 picks up a win. First loss for this tournament in Juryo for Tamashoho. Wins by Oshidashi. Now Mitakeyumi and Shirokuma. Strange to see Mitakeyumi at Maegashira 17, the former Ozeki. He takes on this man today, Shirokuma, yet to get a win. They're both Maegashira 17. Meeting for the first time. Can he show his experience here, or can the young pup beat him? In hard, but an awkward positioning initially with the right hand for Shirokuma. Now deflecting, going backwards is Mitakeyumi. He's at the edge.
Nothing.
He's leaning in, and now he moves the
Well,
other way.
every single time I bet,
I think that
they just fold.
surprised
They've been
Shirokuma.
folding every single time.
I'm sure he thought he was going to go to the right. He goes left, and he wins by a Watanabe.
Sometimes that's how it
The
be.
overarm throw, experience coming to the fore there. And the veteran Mitakeyumi picks up his second win. Shirokuma yet to win. Now Asakoryu and Kotushoho. Well, there's not a
But
lot
if people
of
are being super
123
tight, you can
kilos,
just
but he's
open more.
got lots of muscle and lots of speed. Kotushoho can push and thrust. Both men with a perfect start. 2 straight wins. First time meeting in the top division. Fast away as Asakoryu drives forward and wins convincingly. Oshita Oshi. Well, we know he's fast. That was exceptional. The first loss for Kotushoho, but on the plus side, Asakoryu, in his second time in the top division, goes to 3 straight. Now Now, the first of our bouts of the day, we're going to have a look at Aonishiki, the rookie, the man from Ukraine, takes on veteran Sadanoumi. There he is. He turns 21 on Senchuraku. Poor left-hand work from him so far in the opening 2 days, yet to get a win. Can he get on the board here for the first time? Right hand, effective. Left hand, nothing yet. Right hand, now he gets the left hand in. He's got a solid grip, Aonishiki, and he pulls the throw. Well, I wanted him to use the left, but I didn't think he'd use it convincingly. Shtate Nage, and there's win number 1 for Aonishiki. And that'll be the first of many. The underarm throw. Yeah, the last 2 days he's been very weak on the left side, but today it becomes the strength. I mean, he's still using the right more than the left initially, but then he goes deep and gets a real solid grip on Sadanumi's Mawashi, and there's the Statinage. Nice sumo from the man in his debut tournament in the top division from Ukraine. First win in top division, day 3. What did you think about that? Well, it took me a while, but I've made it. I just wanted to keep pushing forward to pick up this win, and I think it went really well. Well, keep up the good work tomorrow. I sure will. Congratulations. Thank you. Now, Chironumi and Shishi, the other Ukrainian in the top division. First time meeting in the top division. They did meet in Duhhlion. And Chironumi was the winner. Chironumi off to a good start, 2 straight wins. Shishi 1-1. The bouncing hips of Shishi at the tachiai gets him started. Slaps Chironumi. He slaps, but wow, interestingly, the power of the slap basically knocked himself off his own feet. First time meeting in the top division. They did meet in Duhhlion. And Chironumi was the winner. Chironumi off to a good start, 2 straight wins. Shishi 1-1. The bouncing hips of Shishi at the tachiai gets him started. Slaps Chironumi. He slaps, but wow, interestingly, bouncing hips of Shishi at the tachiai gets him started. Slaps Chironumi. He slaps, but wow, interestingly, the power of the slap basically knocked himself off his own feet, Chironumi. A little hand in there from Shishi. And it's an Oshi-Taoshi win for Shishi, but just caught off balance Chironumi. So both Ukrainians win, first time. Awkward positioning, but Chironomi's moving forward well here. Shishi he swats him there, he gets in trouble, but now he recovers Chironumi and swaps on the right, and as he goes back, he loses his balance and down he goes. Interesting way to lose. Maybe an interesting way to win for Shishi, but it's on the board, it's in the books. Now Takada Fuji and Yuden. This will be a chest-to-chest battle. History does favor Takada Fuji quite strongly, 12-4. 1-1 start for the Maegashira 12. 2 straight wins for Yuden, the Maegashira 14. 38-year-old, 34-year-old. He wants the left hand inside. Takada Fuji, he gets it. Yuden keeps him at bay. Now he's looking for the right hand outside. Takada Fuji, once he gets that, he's very hard to beat. He's got it solid. Takes Yuden to the edge and out. 9 times out of 10, if he gets his favorite grip left in, right out, he wins. Yorikiri. So both men are 2-1 after 3 days of action and maintains his dominance over Yuden. Now we look at Onokatsu and Meisei. Met once before. Meisei was the winner.
I was at 20 bigs when I got to this
Getting
team.
used to the top division is Onokatsu. 2 straight wins for him.
I haven't seen a flop.
Meisei at 1-1.
Oh, 41, dude? Nice. It's just because you've been raising, right?
Meisei
Yeah,
forward,
dude,
but he pulls straight away going backwards. That's not normally
and
the
I'm
good
like
thing
just
to
raising
do.
like
Left hand in, solid Meisei. Onokatsu's trying to work his magic, taking to the edge and over the Tuata.
Just to
Maintains the right hand strong, left hand on the body.
See how far you can take it.
Meisei recovers, but he's in trouble once again.
But yeah,
Gets to
I
the edge
really
and
haven't seen
out.
a flop this whole time.
Yeah, it was all wrong for Meisei from the Tachiai. Onokatsu picks up his third straight win. And evens their rivalry. Meisei drops to 1.
That's one too many. One too many, yep. Thank you.
That's insane. Wow. 200?
You give me this 50, you're down 50.
That's amazing.
Not bad. Good friend.
It's not bad at all.
That's
not
crazy.
bad.
Dude, that's crazy.
Dan is the best friend.
That's crazy.
Thank you, sir.
Hey.
That's one too many. One too many, yep. Thank you.
That's insane.
Oh shit, dude. Big hand.
Wow.
Big hand alert.
200? You give me this 50, you're down 50.
That's amazing.
Not bad. Good friend. It's not bad at all.
That's
not
crazy.
bad.
Dude, that's
Dan
crazy.
is the best friend.
That's crazy.
Thank you, sir.
Hey.
That's one too many. One too many, yep. Thank you.
That's insane.
If you want, I'll put 40K on the table right now. Let's go. I'll house and I'll keep both my cards down. Perfect. Stop it. Let's rock. Stop it. No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to.
you already said it.
I don't want to do it.
said it.
I don't want to take money. I'm gonna win.
You're not going to. All right, boss, you're up 4.
I'll bet 4.
You're up 8.
I have a couple things. Oh man.
Sounds like a woman.
That's my wife. My wife found out.
Oh. Oh, great. Hey. All right.
We're podcasting, man.
We'll be
we're
right there.
We're in a good place right now, dude. Come on. Dude, we're podcasting for real.
You mother.
What?
It's like
Love
when
you,
the
babe.
Raptors found out how to
Love
open the
you, babe.
doors. It was just a funny joke.
I have a couple things. Oh man.
Sounds like a woman.
That's my wife. My wife found out.
Oh. Oh, great.
After walking through a 6-dimensional portal to save the multiverse, Superman comes back seconds later, aged up a whole decade, as Bruce then quickly gets Manhunter to confirm that it really is Clark. Superman explains that after a decade worth of efforts, he had figured out the only way to save the multiverse, as he then takes them along and introduces them to their future selves and a perfect world. He basically walks them through how they managed to win so big here, showing them around the House of Justice. And while all of that is great, Diana and Bruce wanted to know how they're gonna save the multiverse, which was the reason Clark was sent here in the first place. Clark explains that he has basically found out that the mother of their multiverse, Perpetua, is evil and wants the multiverse to be wicked and avoid the eventual judgment that every multiverse should get. So the solution is basically to wrestle their multiverse away from her and help it achieve a higher form so that it hopefully can be judged worthy. But since they've got plenty of time, Clark wants
Jonathan,
them
look
to
at this
take a look
stack right
around
here.
this perfect place. Batman goes to see a complete peaceful and modern Gotham as Dick Grayson then pulls off his mask to thank Bruce for the sacrifice he had made for this world. Martian Manhunter and Hawkgirl see their future together with kids running a spaceport for all planets. John and Barry are shown their destiny of designing whole worlds where they have complete control over the time stream. Diana is shown that all of her dreams have came true with Themyscira being open to the rest of the world. This all seemed too good to be true because it was, as it turns out that this whole time the real Superman has been trapped away in a galaxy that specifically is made for him with no sunlight. And so when Manhunter called the League for a meeting to tell them that this world isn't what it looks to be, future Superman pulls up and confirms that the real Superman is locked away as he reveals his true identity as the son of Perpetua, the World Forger. He basically explains that for this perfect multiverse to survive, he needs their multiverse to be destroyed with no involvement from Superman whatsoever. And because they refused to help him, they were all thrown in a prison run by Lois Lane, except for Batman, who wanted to hear the World Forger out and therefore eventually helps him kill Superman by moving all the suns away from him. Or that's what it at least seemed like, because later when the League escaped the prison and went ahead to put up a fight against their future versions, Batman tells the World Forger to give him some time before he destroys their multiverse, claiming that he needed it to convince the League to side with him. But that's when it's revealed that Batman this whole time was just waiting for Superman to get it together and fly through all the suns in the orbit he put them in for him, so that he ultimately uses all that power to stop the World Forger once and for all, which was exactly what he ended up doing. After walking through a
That wasn't in the movie. Eminem is just such a brilliant dude. We're on set one day, and he's like, yo, it don't make sense that we beefing. I was like, right? He was like, I need something like on you. So we talked for like 2 hours, like chilling. I'm like, all right, man, I'll see you later. The next day we're shooting a battle scene. And that's why I'm standing there like, you're talking about me. You're not talking about Clarence.
But I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school.
That has nothing to do with the character. You're an asshole, Eminem.
What's the matter, dog? You in Paris? This guy's a gangster? His real name's Clarence. And Clarence lives at home with both parents. And Clarence's parents have a real good marriage.
I'm like, I won't fight this mother. I'm like, yes, my parents are still married. That wasn't in the movie. Eminem is just such a brilliant dude. We're on set one day, and he's like, yo,
You just got it all in with that guy? How many bigs
I was
did
like,
you get?
right? He was like, I need something like on you. So we're talking. We talked for like 2 hours.
I think it was just
like
the
chilling.
answer.
I'm like, all right, man, I'll see you later. The next day we're shooting a battle scene. And that's why I'm standing there like, you're talking about me. You're not talking about Clarence.
But I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school.
That has nothing to do with the character. You're an asshole, Eminem.
What's the matter, dog?
Do you know why the Department of Correction is trying to stop your website?
My guess is they usually receive under 1,000 complaints a year from convicts. With my site, they've received over 13,000.
Yes, it's called abusive process, sir. That's why we're suing. Are you licensed to practice law in any state or territory in the U.S.?
No.
And yet here you are giving legal advice online.
I'm just helping to file paperwork. This guides inmates through the process. That's all.
Hey, have you ever used WebMD?
Yes.
And did you ever think it was your doctor?
No.
Yeah, the difference is there are actual doctors behind that site.
Oh, you really think I can sue?
What is this?
But how could I go about it? I can help you fill out the paperwork. Mr. Schmidt, do you employ a Mary Ann Daly at your law office?
Come on.
She's your secretary, isn't she? Do you happen to know
Yeah,
if
dude,
she's
people
a
just getting in
licensed
with anything.
attorney?
Oh, wait,
I'm
small
going to take
pot,
that as a
by
no. Dominic, are you making any money from this site?
You don't tend to make money from inmates. That's why they have so much trouble accessing lawyers.
Do you know why the Department of Correction is trying to stop your website?
My guess is they usually
I bet you $1 you can't guess how many cans of tuna I got in here.
12. Dang. I bet you can't guess how many apples I got in my hand.
5.
Damn.
The one thing everybody bet on was sports. Woo! What?
I'm about to make some money, that's what. I got the Bulls over the Bucks.
I didn't gamble, but I knew a bad bet when I saw it.
The Bulls can't beat the Bucks. I mean, yeah, they have Jordan, but Don Nelson can coach circles around Kevin Lockery.
The Bucks over the Bulls? You're crazy.
Wanna bet? I wasn't making a bet with Doc, but it paid off anyway.
Well, ain't you the little odds maker?
What are you talking about?
Here,
What's this for?
you call that game just right. First I was down 50, now I'm up 300.
All I get is this?
Now, when I said bet, I didn't mean bet. I was just saying.
Oh, you just keep on saying, and I'll just keep on paying. How'd you learn so much about the...
I bet you $1 you can't guess how many cans of tuna I got in here.
12.
All right, Derek Horace, what's the scariest thing you've seen in broad daylight?
Oh, bum taking a shit. Yeah.
So we can give you any kind of a file and you can compress it without degradation at this standard, 3.8.
Yes.
Okay, Andy Stafford here has a file for you.
Okay. It's 132 gigabytes uncompressed, and it's a 3D video file.
Shit, it's hung.
Oh no.
There is a time limit. You have 2 minutes remaining. Looks like it's done.
Wait, 24 gigs? What happened?
I mean, 24 gigs, that's less than a fourth the file size. Why don't we run a Wiseman test for verification, see where we went wrong?
Wait a second. What's happening? There's no errors. Look. 5.2? How?
What?
Wait, it compressed the whole file? That's the whole file. It's just half the size I thought it would be.
But with a confirmed score of 5.2, Pied Piper appears to have just doubled the best Wiseman score ever measured. Doubled it. Pied Piper, ladies and gentlemen. So we can give you any kind of a file and you can compress it without degradation at this standard, 3.8.
Yes.
Okay, Andy Stafford here has a file for you.
Okay. It's 132 gigabytes uncompressed, and it's a 3D video file.
Shit, it's hung.
Oh no.
There is a time limit. You have 2 minutes remaining. Looks like it's done.
Wait, 24 gigs? What happened?
I mean, 24 gigs, that's less than a fourth the file size.
My biggest welcome to the NBA moment when I realized that, hey, man, I'm in the NBA.
These guys got money. My big vet, Zach Randolph. So one day I come in and he was like, hey.
When are you gonna stop eating shrimp with the wimps and go feast with the beast? We're back. So I stole that from Chibli, who maybe came up with it or maybe stole it himself. But it's been rattling around my brain. When are you gonna stop eating shrimp with the wimps and go feast with the beast, man? What a great line. Great line to use if you're trying to get someone in your downline, in your marketing scam. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's the right play, the wrong play, the cheesy play, whatever. We're going straight up. Small enchanted item every time, man. Now, Turbo Seaweed, having a haste enabler does seem great. There is something about a toxic revolver, man. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm a sucker for a great weapon. I do think you could be a stud as well, but I think this is interesting, man. I think it's an interesting setup. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind, like, upgrading it for free, I guess. 16 damage, minimum 6 times with also the poison attached. What do I want alongside of it? I mean, cooldown reduction is always really good, man. But maybe this is a situation where getting, like, that fang might actually be advantageous. Although maybe now that I think about it, it's actually stupid because we don't want the Fang to steal any poison skills or buffs. It's not a big deal because we'll probably just get Lash Out anyway, which would actually, I guess it would be kind of unnecessary for what we're building here.
All right. I gotta pop off for a little bit.
Silver Catalysts? I guess it's only
Love
one
you, bud.
poison anyway, but
Love you.
we got money to burn, man. We like it. For sure we like it. We like it. 4 to reroll is expensive, but I do feel like now's kind of the time. I think this is simple, man. You run that, and you get a pearl to use for later. Truth be told,
in 2013, and it was 37% for Trump later in 2017. Republicans in 2013, it was 22%.
point of my YouTube. I don't even advertise that I'm streaming on YouTube. Really, it's just my YouTube stream is a VOD archive. That's what it's really meant for. Okay, I need to alt it before I do this. Okay. So whenever I was playing that, it made some people's stream lag. Is what you're saying. Why is it crunchy? Hold on, don't do that because it actually is like making things spike, I guess. And then it's still lagging. Then they get confused. Dumb.
In the allotted time it took to build a prop and actually shoot something practically, where you actually get everything in camera, can you actually get to that same bar of quality using nothing but digital tools?
I built a prop I want to be killed with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, let's kill Adam Savage. Let's do it.
So you're directing a movie, and you gotta decide, do you do this effect for real and capture it in camera, or do you do it later on in post-production using computers and visual effects? Which one looks better? Which one saves you the most money? Which one's gonna make you the best movie? This question has been discussed millions of times on the internet, and today we're gonna answer it.
Or at least we're going to explore it. You know, there's no simple answer to this question. However, I do find this really compelling to just figure out. In the allotted time it took to build a prop and actually shoot something practically, where you actually get everything in camera, can you actually get to that same bar of quality using nothing but digital tools? And of course, we are going to be testing this concept with none other than Adam Savage.
Adam invited us up to San Francisco to check out this prop that he's working on based on the scene from this movie Chinatown, where Jack Nicholson gets his nose cut open.
You know what happens to nosy fellas? Huh? They lose their noses.
Oh, dude.
It looks really good.
What makes that work is that, like, you see a tip of the knife disappear inside of his nose and then go laterally out. You can't do that because there's nose in the way.
And you see his nose itself, like, get stretched, the nostril.
Yeah. He's actually acting as if his nose was sliced open because it's like when you're splattered with blood, it's hard. It's a very visceral feeling, I imagine. Now, we don't know exactly how this effect was done, but Adam has studied the scene frame by frame in order to reverse engineer not just the prop, but the blood splatter. He even timed every moment of the build, which, of course, you can watch right now on the tested YouTube channel.
We're gonna take that amount of time, we're gonna give that same amount of time to a visual effects artist, in this case Fenner, to see what they can do with the exact same amount of time and resources. Now, if the shot is as good or better, that has some interesting implications. We'll discuss why. If it's worse, same thing. At the end of the day, it's all a learning experience for us to judge the nuances and complexities around this topic and what one has to think about if you are a director or producer and you're trying to decide between actual